I'm assuming I'm good to go, yeah. Okay, well, I'll get started here, and unless anyone waves me off that they're not quite ready to start yet, but I don't see anyone doing that yet, so I think we're safe to get started here and safe to begin. And well, first of all, of course, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here and joining me on SAIT's incredible campus here in cold Calgary today. Unfortunately, I thought spring was here, but you know, that's always the case with Calgary and with Alberta. You can never be too certain when it comes to springtime weather. So unfortunately, it looks like we're in for another blast of winter. But either way, always a real pleasure for me to be here at SAIT. And I want to thank, of course, President and CEO Dr. David Ross for allowing us to be here. I hear there's some fun activities planned later that you're going to be participating in as well with me. I heard there's some fire involved, so we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that together. He's not looking too confident, but I'm sure we can convince him. And I would, of course, like to welcome and thank staff and students from SAIT for joining us for this very special announcement. And before I do that, I want to take just a quick moment to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation to many individuals here at SAIT. First and foremost, of course, to Dr. David Ross, but also to Board Chair Scott Thon. I know he couldn't be here with us today, but want to thank him for his leadership as Chair of the Board of Governors here at SAIT. As well, I want to extend my appreciation to the entire team, all members, I should say, of the Board of Governors of SAIT. I think many Albertans often forget or may not realize that the Board of Governors at our post-secondary institutions are volunteers, and they put in an incredible amount of time, energy, and effort into helping to move their institution forward. So I want to give them that special acknowledgement and recognition. And furthermore, I also want to take a quick moment to thank President David Ross and David Ross, your entire leadership team, because as we all know, the past couple of years have been challenging as we've tried to navigate through a global pandemic. And of course, that's had significant impacts on our post-secondary institutions and our post-secondary students. And I want to thank the entire senior leadership team and, in fact, all staff for all of the work that you've done in managing and navigating this institution through these very turbulent COVID waters and doing it in a way that puts student priorities first and ensuring that they're able to continue with their academic programming and with their learning with very little disruption. So thank you for that. Now, I also, of course, want to recognize that we're here in a very exciting place, of course, a new state-of-the-art culinary facility and classroom here, of course, in the John Ware building. And I think many people will know, but I think it's important to repeat that SAIT's Culinary Arts program is known to be one of the best in the world, delivered by world-renowned chefs who provide valuable real-life experience to students. By providing top-tier training from experts, students will be equipped to enter the workforce and begin long and fulfilling careers in the area of their studies. And SAIT's Culinary Arts program does just that. As we look forward, Alberta's government is looking at how we can make strategic investments that help bolster post-secondary programs, enhance the student experience, and help get Albertans back to work. So today, I am very proud to talk about advanced education and the government of Alberta's investment of $41 million over 3 years to support the redevelopment of the John Ware building right here at SAIT. This investment is incredibly important for SAIT and for Albertans broadly, and will ensure that Albertans and their families have access to world-class culinary programming right here at home at SAIT for now and long into the future. Now, it's easy to get lost in the dollar figure of this announcement, and that's why I want to talk about the direct impact this investment will have not only to students at SAIT, but to the opportunities that it creates for all Albertans. So first and foremost, this investment will greatly improve the quality of programming here at SAIT's culinary program. The redevelopment will enhance the student experience through facility improvements, the creation of new learning spaces, and the development of a new Center of Excellence for the SAIT culinary program. These upgrades will increase functionality and usefulness of learning spaces and allow for diverse program offerings not available in the current space. This investment will prove critical for student success and will ensure the longevity of SAIT's infrastructure. As we look toward the future, we must look at maximizing the space at post-secondary facilities, and that's exactly what we're doing here today, so that we can benefit all students at SAIT for many years to come. Secondly, infrastructure investments such as this greatly improve student access to post-secondary education. Our post-secondary institutions are only effective if their facilities can serve and accommodate the requirements of students. Once completed, the John Ware redevelopment will increase student capacity by 150. This means more Albertans, more students can have access to world-class training and facilities right here at home. And lastly, investments like this help establish Alberta's post-secondary system further on the global stage. Just the other day, we heard again that SAIT was named in two global lists of the top hospitality management and top business schools in the world. This is indeed an incredible institution that continues to represent the best Alberta has to offer on the world stage. Having the right facilities, expertise, and capacity across our system means we can do amazing things in Alberta, and others will want to come here to invest and to take part. Here in the John Ware building at SAIT, that means getting world-class training in the culinary arts. And the flip side of this, you can take these skills wherever you want. Training here will help graduates be recognized around the world for their skills and equip them to pursue a culinary career here or wherever their dreams take them. All because we are investing in Alberta and their education. So, in closing, this strategic investment is more than just about improving a building. It's about creating greater opportunities now and into the future for all Albertans and their families. And it's about creating an environment where Alberta is one of the best places in the world to live, learn, and work. So in closing, I'd like to thank you all for your time this afternoon and for your presence here today, and thank you again for hosting me. I'm really excited to see the John Ware redevelopment move forward over the next 3 years and watch the growth of SAIT's culinary arts program. And with that, I'm happy to pass the floor over to President and CEO of SAIT here, Dr. David Ross, to say a few words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Very much. Thank you. Thank you, Minister, and thank you very much for the announcement. And I can't tell you how much it means to the SAIT community, to the learners, to the students, to the staff. It's an exciting time here at SAIT. I'd like to start off just with just a little anecdote. We're in the John Ware building, and some of you may or may not know who John Ware is. So John Ware was a fellow who lived at the turn of the last century. And John was a leader, a pioneer. He was a person that was an entrepreneur that found his own way. And he found his own way at a time when the West was just developing. And you may also know that John was a black man. That John was an individual that came to us at a time when there wasn't a very large black population here in the province, which you can imagine at the turn of the last century had its trials, had its challenges. But he succeeded, he persevered, he worked hard, and was extremely successful. And I think that is truly representative of what SAIT stands for. Opportunity, innovation, overcoming challenge, being resilient, and being successful. And I can't think of a better building to talk about when I talk about the success of our grads and what they've seen. And John Ware was certainly emblematic of that. But let me just take a little look back at this building. You may find this interesting. So this building was opened in 1958. The John Ware was formerly known as the East Block. It was used for a number of programs, including, interestingly enough, the Alberta College of Art was here. And you all know that as the Alberta University Arts now, but that started here at SAIT and eventually moved down by the Jubilee. There was an art gallery, a bookstore, a drafting department, the electronics department, library, cafeteria, coffee shop, and believe it or not, in this building there was a rifle range and a bowling alley. They're not here any longer, at least I don't think. So today, John Ware remains a hub, certainly of our renowned, and you heard the minister talk about our hospitality and tourism program. It's living classrooms, and you're standing in one, and I'm sure you've been in many of them, and industry-leading instructors. We've produced some of the most innovative and entrepreneurial leaders in the culinary and hospitality world, certainly in Canada and beyond. Our province's investment in SAIT enables us to further enhance this infrastructure and to match, I believe, the quality of education we provide our students in hospitality and tourism sector, which is, I also know, vital, absolutely vital to the Alberta economy. This is a significant step for our school, and which, just as you heard, ranked number one in Canada and top 20 on a global stage. We are also, and we have Dr. Rainey Woods with us today, the Dean of the School of Advanced Digital Technology, to help future-proof our kitchens, bakeries, and certainly our international culinary competition space. And really what I believe is unlocking the ability to showcase SAIT to the world. And using the room you're in fact, is one of those opportunities. This turns into a studio where we can broadcast from. And that whole tech question, a lot of people will isolate it to a particular school or a particular area, but the notion of technology is everywhere at SAIT. Every program, every area, it is absolutely critical. And as recently as this morning, through LinkedIn, I recognized SAIT as one of the top 10 producers of technology talent in Canada, and which is a significant step, and that is out of about 230 post-secondary institutions in the country. And that is a space we continue to grow. And we do it in conjunction with the School of Hospitality and Tourism and all of the other schools here at SAIT. And you'll also be interested to know, and some of you have been there, that the famous Highwood Dining Room, which is in this building, it's been well maintained, but it's about 25 years old in terms of its design, will be reimagined under this funding to become a more contemporary instructional space, and I think have even greater relevance to student learning and industry connection. So with that, again, thank you, Minister. This important funding from the Government of Alberta allows us to, what I believe, take the next really important step in our programming and the student experience to the next level. And with that, I'm going to turn to George, and I believe we're going to have a demonstration. Thank you.
May you have this on, please, as we proceed into the kitchen. And and just in case you get it really, really dirty, we've got a second one for you.
Oh, really? I don't think that should be a problem. Thank you.
George, let's do a quick media Q&A before we head down.
Ah, okay, sure. That's fantastic. Wow, well, thank you.
I think.
Okay. Oh, we're jumping the gun here.
Yeah, so we'll now begin the media Q&A portion of the announcement. We'll first go to the phones operator, if you would be able to put through the first caller.
Josh Aldridge, Calgary Herald.
Hi, good afternoon. Josh Aldridge, Calgary Herald. Thanks for taking my question today. In the budget, there was, I believe, $171 million set aside to expand student enrollment in areas of identified skill shortages as part of the Alberta Work Program. Is this where that funding is coming from, or is it coming from another part of the budget? And when do you expect construction to begin and end?
Yeah, so on the construction start date and those details, I may pass it over to President Ross. The 41 million that I announced here today is separate from the 171 million. So the 40 million is that we announced here today is specifically for capital development and infrastructure development. The 171 million over 3 years is an investment in operational funds to create 7,000 additional spaces and seats and capacity. So we're in the process now of receiving submissions back from our post-secondary institutions. We, of course, have targeted a number of different areas where we know there are shortages and will be shortages in the future. For example, we're looking to expand capacity and produce more healthcare aides, LPNs, individuals in the aviation fields and in tech. So we are receiving, as we speak, submissions back from our post-secondary institutions about expanding spaces in those programs, and we should be set to make more formal announcements about how much of that 171 million will be going to which schools and to which programs, probably in the next few weeks here. But with respect to the construction timelines, I'm not sure if Dr. Ross wanted to add anything with respect to construction start and other timelines there.
So the construction will start very soon. Yeah, for those in the room, you can see some of the plans and the renderings already in terms of what that's going to look like. And we've been working on this space, and this will be the completion, actually, of the John Ware redevelopment. So it's going to be ongoing. It'll start right away, and the jobs, of course, attached to that will be ongoing as well. So, yeah.
And I don't believe we have any questions here in the room. Operator, are there any more callers on the line?
There are no other questions on the line at this time.
Yeah, and sorry, we have one question in the room here. There's just a mic at the back.
Hi, Alejandro Melgar, Livewire Calgary. I actually had a question for Dr. Ross. Just when it comes to other facilities in on SAIT campus, will there be any funds going into redeveloping these other buildings?
The funds that were announced here today are specifically for this building here to complete this renovation. But as with any post-secondary institution, you're always trying to make sure your facilities stay current and stay relevant, and that's ongoing for us. And as those funds become available, we'll employ them. But the money today is strictly this building here. So, yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'll go back to the phones. I believe Josh has a follow-up, operator.
Josh Aldridge, Calgary Herald.
Yes, thank you. You mentioned 150, roughly 150 new spaces for students, or increased capacity by 150 students. Are there specific programs where we're going to see that increase in capacity? Is it just going to be culinary arts, or are there specific other programs where we're going to see that increase in capacity?
There'll certainly be increase in the culinary and hospitality programs, but the facility is also built to be quite adaptable. So the classroom space, some of the lab space that's in the John Ware facility will be able to be used by almost all of our other programming as it's scheduled. Our goal is always to fully utilize for as many hours as possible the space that's available, and this building will be no exception. So there's that piece for the hospitality and tourism, but other schools will take advantage of the new space as well.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and there's no more callers, correct?
There are no other questions in the queue at this time.
Thank you. Well, that will conclude the media Q&A portion of the announcement, and we'll now go to our cooking demonstration downstairs.